This is David Frederick, and I'm front row. Okay, I gotta make a hypocritical argument about WrestleMania 2 splitting into three cities. Um, Starting in New York, Long Island, the Nassau Coliseum. Why didn't Vince McMahon use the Philadelphia Spectrum to open up? Now, I guess he opened up WrestleMania 1 with New York's Madison Square Gardens or Key Arena. Now I guess Madison Square Gardens would overshadow the other two with Chicago and Los Angeles. I think the Philadelphia Spectrum should have been their first portion of this show. I really think so. Now, also another argument that I have about WrestleMania 2 split into three cities is it's come to now realize the fans us today think he was trying to compete. It's 1986. And with 1985 and 1986, Jim Crockett Promotions had Starrcade 85 and Starrcade 86 in Greensboro and Atlanta, 85 and 86. And I think Vince McMahon got kind of jealous and wanted to split into three cities. I know he wanted WrestleMania to go nationwide, and it's possibility that's also the possibility that to spread this nationwide, to have four matches per show, go across country, across the time zones. Well, hypocritically, the following year, when Starrcade goes in '87 goes pay per view. Oh no, you're not gonna. No, we're not. No, I'm not gonna have Starrcade '87 go on pay per view. And no, 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 no. And WrestleMania 4, you okay? If the argument of the pay per view providers are not gonna, you're not gonna get the money that you'll probably make on WrestleMania 4's pay per view buy rates. You're not gonna have Starrcade. You can't have Starrcade '87. Oh, but you split the three cities in WrestleMania 2 for a previous year to compete with Starrcade, which was the probability. It is a split probability of competing with Starrcade's two shows, two cities, or spread when you wanted to spread to three cities nationwide to get nationwide attention. Okay, it could have been either way. But again, I have to argue why not the Philadelphia Spectrum for the first portion rather than Nassau. The only thing I can figure is because it was in New York and he didn't want, still have a New York setting rather than a Philadelphia setting. But I had to argue this that I didn't like how WrestleMania 2's three cities didn't start with Philadelphia. But I guess he didn't. They wanted a New York shadow rather than Philadelphia. The opening match for WrestleMania 2 in New York's Long Island Nassau Coliseum. Uh, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff against the Magnificent Morocco Mr. Fuji, and Paul Orndorff had turned face since the WrestleMania 1 loss in the tag match, and Piper and Bob Orton Jr. had turned on him. This is no, I tell no, yeah, I was a favorite of still a long time favorite of Paul Orndorff, whether it was heel or face. But yeah, I was a big fan. I was not gonna say big fan, but I was a fan of Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. Short match, but a lot of different notes I caught watching this. And okay, WrestleMania 2 would be my actually first. I wouldn't say first pay per view I ever watched, but the first WrestleMania I ever heard of, since I just started watching WWF in early 1986, with I'm gonna talk about later with the main event, with Saturday Night's main event, and this is the first WrestleMania that got my attention. And once this came out on video, then I saw the first WrestleMania also on video. A couple notes about this match. First, Vince McMahon, when he's in the ring, announces "Welcome to WrestleMania." He doesn't say "Welcome to WrestleMania 2." That's interesting. He wanted to announce that Susan St. James, a CBS TV star of I can't remember the show's name she was on. It was two divorced women raising their kids. I know that it was a popular show. I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but I remember watching the show she was in, Susan St. James. He went to announce, oh my God, is WrestleMania 2 full a ton of celebrities, ridiculously full of celebrities. Um, it was a good classic wrestling match between the two. They did try to work it out, a good working wrestling match. And Orndorff starts off with an armbar. It's a good working wrestling match for a very short time that it is. I'll tell you one thing. It's far better than the first three opening matches of WrestleMania One, and no disrespect to anybody who worked on WrestleMania One. No disrespect to any of the first three matches, but opening up with the opening match with two superstars, Don Morocco and Paul Orndorff. I think a far better opening match than WrestleMania One had. The weird, strange thing is that they had audio inserts, promotions at Don Morocco said that Paul Orndorff, no, you're an embarrassment in WrestleMania One's main event, so I'll make you an embarrassment for this match. And Paul Orndorff, they did audio inserts than a video insert of what they're going to do, and that's the way wrestling used to be. Is okay. I'm gonna do this to you, and that, and whatnot. Talk about against each other. Where that's what's missing in today's wrestling, and all the fans know about that. They'd rather talk the whole show, the entire show, and wrestle for 1 minute. What it seems like. The audio inserts were definitely different rather than video inserts. One thing. Okay, once this match ends in a double countout, I'm gonna talk about that in just a moment. I don't know if this was an audio insert. I don't think so, because what really shocks me is once the match is the bell is rung and both men are outside the ring, the match ends in a double count out. There was a quick you can hear the fans start yelling bullshit. What? In 1986? I'm surprised I never known them to use foul language. Maybe in the 90s, Attitude Era. But the fans, it lasted for no more than about maybe 5-10 seconds that the fans started yelling bullshit. I'm surprised. I'm surprised if that's added by McMahon or whomever, and for the network. I'm surprised if this was real by the fans chanting that foul language. I'm surprised the network didn't cut that part out, because it seems too short for 10 seconds. The fans would have kept it going. Okay, now for how this match ended, a double countout. Okay, I knew this match ended in a double countout. So I remember since the first time I saw this video back when like 86, 87 when the VHS tape came out. I watched when they were wrestling. It was a good classic wrestling match. Match was only 4 minutes long. It seemed they were record five. They were trying to. If they should have gone to this match should have ended in maybe a 5-10 minute draw, a time limit draw, not a double count out. I saw as they fell over. They practically pushed each other over the top rope. The referee. I watched the referee's hand count for a 10. No, he only reaches 5, and the bell rings. He only waves his hand 5 times. And then he rings the bell, and they end up a double countout. He moved his arm 5 times, not 10 times. That was way too quick of a double countout for Don Morocco and Paul Orndorff to end this match. It should have ended in a time limit draw. Second match of the night is Intercontinental Champion Randy Macho Man Savage with Elizabeth versus Georgie Animal Steel. This was much more entertainment than I remember. It is very entertaining. Susan St. James, very good at commentating. She does know. She plays along with everything that's going on, and really good at adding comments, and she's really, really good. Really entertaining to listen to. As much as they kept saying it's not a scientific match, definitely not. It's more about George Steele's and his interest in Elizabeth, and Susan St. James kept saying that that Elizabeth's taste in men, and so no, she should change boyfriends, despite the fact that her and Savage are married. But it's really interesting commentary about what George Steele's his attraction for Elizabeth, but. It's George Steele at times each other takes it to each other in this match. When Savage tries he lives up to the name Savage definitely in this match. Really he can't wrestle George Steele. No, George Steele, he's a face in this match, and I think he started his career way back in the '60s. I'm not mistaken, because he had matches way back in the '60s with living legend, world champion Bruno Sammartino. So he has been a heel, and whether he used the animal gimmick But nowadays in the '80s, it was very popular for George Steele, this George Animal Steele gimmick, because he's very hairy. He had a green tongue, but you didn't couldn't see, on the television tapings, you could see a green tongue, and you didn't really they didn't focus on that part. But his ripping of the turnbuckles and the stuffing definitely came out. He hit Macho Man with it, and Macho Man grabbed some flowers that were meant for Elizabeth, and they each George Steele and Randy Savage would smack each other with it with there's some flowers from ringside at each other. It's a good vague brawl. It's a vague brawl. The one biggest surprise. Okay, there's a couple of notes and big surprises. Macho Man got an early. His infamous is off the top rope elbow drop, and y'all thought it was over. No, George Steele kicked out. Whoa, that's what Jesse Ventura has always complained about the usage of somebody's finishing move, and then someone kicks out. Okay, that pretty much destroys the usage of your finishing move unless it's for a main event opponent or it's a long feud, something like that. For WrestleMania, okay, for WrestleMania 2, but for the kick out of it, it was surprising that George Steele kicked out of the elbow. We all thought it was over with. George Steele constantly would rip the turnbuckle stuffing. He was known for it at the TV tapings or wherever he worked. He would when he had the face turn, his baby face. He was popular. His gimmick, his animal character was very popular with the fans, and everybody was always looking forward to him ripping up the turnbuckle stuffing, and he would throw it all over throw it at the cameras, throw it all over the ring, throw it at their opponents, and he did it twice with Savage, and Savage, try to wrestle and work with. You're not gonna work with George Steele. He's not a wrestler. He's a feature gimmick, similar to Andre. I honest to God would compare George Steele with Andre Giant. I'm not talking size. No, not talking size. But for gimmick and attraction, I would a different show attraction. I would say George Steele and Andre the Giant are similar when it comes to a big show attraction. They're very popular to watch. But yeah, it's WrestleMania, and George Steele is going to get his shot at the Intercontinental title because he's interested in Elizabeth. And Susan James kept saying, she should change her men, and she said boyfriends, but Savage would to win this match. Savage would use it's many champions, similar to Greg Valentine when he was the Intercontinental champion. They would pull the legs out from under their opponent and use the second rope, put their legs on the second rope for leverage, and he pins George Steele. Rather than you win with the elbow drop, they call it Savage kind of steals the win over George Steele putting his legs up on the second rope and pinning Steele when he pulled his legs out from under Steele. Third match of the night, Jake the Snake Roberts against George Wells. Practically this would be, I've always considered the only, oh man, I want to use jobber or talent enhancement, but George Wells, to this day, I have never heard or seen of yet. I mean, of all the people that we now consider the jobbers and talent enhancements, maybe I have never heard of George Wells since. Not only for only this match. Now looking back at this match, and I have not watched this match. No, WrestleMania 2 probably. No, the feature match. No, the not as much as feature match as WrestleMania 2. I'm just now learning. I have not seen this show since 16, 17 years old, and when the VHS tape came out. And when I watched this match, it was so fast, but it didn't. And to this day, all the wrestling matches and shows I've ever seen on TV, pay-per-view, and video, and whatnot, never heard of George Wells. So then Vince McMahon caught my attention when he said he was a former Canadian football player. Well, that kind of makes sense trying to match up with the Chicago part of this show, with the WrestleMania, with the Battle Royal mixed with NFL players. So I'm thinking it was have a Canadian football player for former Canadian football player, um, working the opening show at the Nassau Coliseum in New York. But as much as Jake Roberts let George Wells shine, got a couple good punches in a lot on Jake Roberts. Um, Jake Roberts kept trying to play strategist for a little bit, and Jake Roberts is one of the best ring workers, strategists, minds there ever was. Um, he brought the snake, and it was in the sack, tied up sack, but he did not call it Damien. And through in after maybe after this show, I automatically thought they'd be calling it Damien. He did not call, nobody called the snake Damien. It was not labeled Damien yet. We all come to no, we all come to the. I wouldn't say we were fans of the snake, but we did. Who didn't become a fan of Jake the Snake Roberts? And he was announced from Stone Mountain, Georgia, which was changed since his Atlanta days. I can't remember what they said where he was from, but now in the WWF he is labeled from Stone Mountain, Georgia. He did not have his introduction music that week that he would have throughout into the 80s, early 90s. I could not about to play out loud with this. He had great introduction music, Jake Roberts, but it wasn't available for this show. But again, he brought the snake out after he defeats George Wells with the infamous, legendary DDT. Jake Roberts was the only one who could do a proper DDT, because most of these guys, anybody who ever used a DDT move, they bent the wrestler's head, their opponent's head. They bent it or bent the body. But Jake, he'd do a flat, straight to the mat, not bend the body or bend the head. It was straight to the mat, and no, not comment about this match, but one comment I had to throw in. So where did the DDT come from? DDT stood for an insect or rat repellent that was sprayed by maintenance workers. Because since I was raised in apartment maintenance, I remember my father using it, and he called the chemical DDT. It was for major insects and rat repellent. He sprayed in the apartments. I have yet to see it again. Find the video of it again. Jake Roberts had a great promo interview with Mean Gene Okerlund, and Gene Okerlund asked, "What does DDT stand for?" And says, "What's DDT stand for?" Yes. What does DDT stand for? Simple. The end. That's Jake Roberts. One of the best minds, best promo guy. Oh man, Jake is one of the best in the business, and it's good that he's in the Hall of Fame. It's so bad that drugs really did a job on him most of his career, his life. But this match is not much of a match, and I honestly don't know why they picked George Wells. Maybe just a simple. George Wells is apparently a former football player, but he quickly shined, got a couple punches in on Jake Roberts, but Jake Roberts ended the match with the DDT. Honestly, don't know why George Wells was picked for this match, but I'm surprised Jake Roberts was in the WWF this early. Is April 7th, 1986. I'm very surprised Jake Roberts was in the WWF this early, but his WrestleMania 2 match, and why he was facing someone who, maybe it was someone easy to beat, to pull the snake out. All right, the main event portion of the first part of this show for WrestleMania 2 at the Nassau Coliseum, the fourth match, is the boxing match between Roddy Piper and Mr. T. Now, how this match came about, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I know it was a Saturday Night's main event. I'm not sure if it's the same show I had watched. I think it was. The Saturday Night's main event that I started with the attack with Morocco Heenan and Bundy attacking Hogan, I think also was a boxing match on Saturday Night's main event between Mr. T and Bob Orton Jr. And that match ended with Roddy Piper whipping Mr. T with a belt. And now I'm not sure how that match ended, but this leads to their boxing match at this. First, before I even get started with the boxing match, This is so ridiculously involving the celebrities. Holy cow. Joan Rivers, late night comedian, she is ring announcing. I don't even know how to answer. Even, oh my God, commenting on that. Joan Rivers. I'm not a fan of Joan Rivers, but Jesus Christ, Vince, you her to announce. Now she announces also the big interesting label, the interesting really comment that I was stunned by. She says the ring announcers, she's like, well, for WrestleMania 2. She says WrestleMania 2, where Vince McMahon didn't even announce the opening of the show as WrestleMania 2. He says just WrestleMania. She announces WrestleMania 2. Okay, she announces the boxing judges. Boxing, a basketball legend, Daryl Dawkins. Cap Calloway, vaudeville legendary singer. I remember him mostly from the Blues Brothers movie. Then came why did they choose this judge? G. Gordon Liddy from the Watergate President Nixon scandal. Um, he was part of, him and Howard Hunt were those that tried to start the cover up. Oh boy, G. Gordon Liddy of all people for a judge? Then a timekeeper, the I completely forgot about this guy. Burger King promotion guy named Herb. Vince, you pick these for celebrities? Oh boy. Okay, as it's the boxing match is Roddy Piper against Mr. T. Roddy Piper enters. He is followed with his second, Bob Orton Jr. And Lou Duva is his cornerman. He's a legendary Olympic boxing coach. Then comes in Mr. T with legendary Philadelphia boxer, former world heavyweight champion, Smoking Joe Frazier, with the Haiti Kid, a midget wrestler. Oh boy, this boxing match. I didn't. This is the first time again. I've said this before. This is the second time I've seen this. Second time I've watched this show in full. I didn't remember the boxing match in full. Watching it entirely, since I first watched this tape when I was a teenager, I can see why this match is definitely not popular today. As it really it practically killed the career of Mr. T. Mr. T was not trained properly with cardiovascular, how to breathe properly. I mean, working with, he was just because he's popular, from WrestleMania 1, he worked with Hulk Hogan in a tag team match. He's an actor. Despite the fact he's out of Chicago. He worked as a bar bouncer in Mr. Toughman contest, apparently. Well, maybe he's just playing a badass character as he did in the A-Team. And just because he was the big deal in Rocky 3, and he killed Rocky Balboa practically, taking the title from him in I think it was a 3-round match in Rocky 3, it was an acting job. And don't want I really want to say acting job in professional wrestling? Why couldn't they at least allowed him to reenact the Clubber Lang character in this boxing match? It would have seemed better. No, they have Mr. T perform the boxing match himself. He had no cardiovascular conditioning to breathe. They in the WrestleMania 1 tag match, he had a hard time breathing. He could barely stand up. He barely worked the match. He was afraid to do the tag match in the first place. So this match, it's said that him and Piper did not get along very well. Because Mr. T is an actor, and he does not, as much as Mr. T is supposed to be the badass character, he did not really imitate it. He talked it, definitely. But he cannot work in the ring. And he could barely breathe, But despite the fact, Piper and Mr. T barely had. They both act. The cardiovascular system as being a wrestler versus a boxer, it was a poor match overall. Is why this match is not looked at back as a feature popular match of WrestleMania 2. Round one, you give it to Piper for landing most jabs, most hits, and you can see about Mr. T. He's protecting himself a lot in his all arounds. They did not announce this boxing match how many rounds. I thought it was 3 rounds. No, apparently it's. They did not say how many rounds it was. Maybe it was 10 rounds, but it was never really announced. Susan St. James, when the first round came to an end, she gave the most hits scored by Piper. I would agree with that. Then came round two, and Mr. T really started showing fatigue, sweating a lot. You could see he could barely breathe, and by going down to the last minute, each round is 3 minutes, like a typical boxing match. As the count, and it reached the 59 seconds left of round two. Piper, no, he made some kick. Boxing. Oh my God, so many things that Piper should have been disqualified so many times in a real boxing match, but it's wrestling. Roddy Piper landed a couple of good headshots, and Mr. T went down at the 59-second left in the round two. And then, as round two ended, as they rang the bell, round two ending, T goes down again. This was an embarrassing situation. In the 1990s, when they did the Brawl for All boxing tournament, good Lord, this is what all the wrestlers are supposed to be really real life badass fighters. This was Mr. T acted like that he could barely perform in this boxing match. But I think as everybody expected him to act like Clubber Lang at a Rocky 3 to kick Piper's ass. He didn't. He was acting like himself, and he was not trained for ring work whatsoever, whether it was wrestling or it was boxing. That's what was embarrassing in this. Comes round three, and Mr. T comes back from some slight hits back on Piper, and I think eventually it comes close to the round three, almost to a close. He's able to punch Roddy Piper out of the ring. Piper falls out of the ring. That's the only best shot Mr. T got the entire match. He got a good couple shots, and Piper fell out of the ring. Now comes round four. Well, round four, I says they didn't announce how many rounds this was. I thought the match ended in round three. They come out to each other and start throwing not a lot of punches, but quick roundhouse punches. Left and right, then a left and right, but it wasn't quick. And eventually, again, they constantly were going against in the corner, and it was a real life boxing referee with a mic in his. You could hear the boxing referee loud and clear. They had a microphone connected him, and he kept constantly through the whole boxing match. He kept saying, "No, break it up, break it up, break it up." You try to keep this a real boxing match. Then eventually, this round four comes quickly to an ending as they're in the corner, and the referee's trying to break them up again, and Piper shoves the referee down. It was not much of it wasn't a hard shove. It was a soft shove, but then he goes to body slam Mr. T. The match is over, and referee calls for disqualification. Heck, Piper threw a chair at him as I think it was round three or round four started, and Piper threw a chair at him. Earlier in the boxing match, Rob Orton Jr. threw a bucket of water at Mr. T. It's a WWF. What do you expect? And then his boxing referee said, "Let them go." And this is but that shoving the referee and Piper body slamming Mr. T. This is I can understand now, looking back at in its entirety. It was a very poor boxing match, but if they were actually fighting each other, they said that they did not get along in real life. Their Piper, as a longtime wrestler, did perform far better than his boxing match. And Mr. T They expected him. They expect. I bet the crowd expected Mr. T to act like a Clubber Lang or really kick Piper's ass one way or another. He did not. Mr. T was not conditioned for this match. He is not in a condition. Hulk Hogan or anybody else did not work with him very well. He was not prepared for this match. He is not for this boxing match or wrestler. He is a poor excuse, and maybe that's why he was not inducted to the Hall of Fame very early. And when Mr. T was eventually inducted to the Hall of Fame, he goes on with a over and over and over, I love my mother. Okay, fine. But he never talks about anything else. And he ruined it. And he complained why he was not the first celebrity inductee. I think this boxing match, let alone, would prove that. God, act like, use your Clubber Lang, act like your badass character you were, and you would have performed far better. But I can understand why nobody looks at this match as, wow, this is, okay, let's watch this a feature match. It is not a feature match for WrestleMania 2. It's a poor, event. Feature match for the Nassau Coliseum first part of the show. It was very poor to watch. For Mr. T to win over Roddy Piper by disqualification, the boxing match, I can understand why this is not looked on as fun as a memorable match to watch for WrestleMania 2 or any WrestleMania. We now start off with the first match of the Chicago portion of WrestleMania 2 at the Rosemont Horizon. The commentary is the legendary Gorilla Monsoon with Mean Gene Okerlund and celebrity commentator Kathleen Lee Crosby. I remember her from the That's Incredible show. And this is her first WrestleMania, first wrestling show. She definitely talks like it. She's never seen anything like it. But I remember her from the That's Incredible show. She's very popular. The opening match is the World Wrestling Federation Ladies Champion, the Fabulous Moolah against Velvet McIntyre. Surprisingly, this is a quick match. Moolah was charged after McIntyre and practically had to run around the referee to get out of my way. I'm gonna go after her, and starts pulling her hair. Wow, it's one thing about women wrestlers in the 1980s. They had really long hair, but at least their outfits are long enough. It's a body outfit. I don't even get started at again. I know. I always complain about that, the way women wrestlers are today compared to in the 80s. It was a full body, like a swim outfit, a proper body outfit. I'm going to go getting that again. But anyway, Moolah was pulling on McIntyre's hair, flip her over practically like a body slammed her. Moolah was taking charge, but eventually McIntyre then was able to get to the was going to do an off the top rope. No, she was on the second rope. One thing I noticed that Velvet McIntyre she's not wearing boots. That has got to be very unusual for women's wrestlers. The only other I know, maybe Jimmy Snuka, the other wrestler. It's not often that wrestlers do not wear wrestling boots. Kevin Von Erich also did not wear boots, but I don't think I've ever seen a wrestler not wear boots. But Velvet McIntyre leaves with the second rope, and she fully missed a body press. And Moolah went to cover her. Sometimes these covers that was the males or the women wrestlers go to cover, and it's not much. But McIntyre had her foot on the rope. I think it was 1 or 2 feet on the rope, but the referee made a 3 count. Moolah quickly made quick work of Velvet McIntyre's missing a body splash from the second rope, and Moolah retains the women's title in this opening match. Second match tonight here in Chicago is a flag match between Corporal Kirchner and Nikolai Volkov. Nikolai is with Fred Blassie, and Nikolai is, every match Nikolai Volkov does, he sings the Russian national anthem. Corporal Kirchner, a real-life airborne serviceman. I said that during the Western Classic pay-per-view I reviewed. He comes in with the Marine hymn. Here's the thing about Corporal Kirchner. I said before, he's a replacement of Sergeant Slaughter. No, he's a real life serviceman. No disrespect for him. He's a real-life serviceman, but in wrestling-wise, he's a replacement for Sergeant Slaughter, but Sergeant Slaughter is far too popular. And I think Sergeant Slaughter is now back in the AWA. But it's a flag match. Nikolai starts off, kicking and whatnot, putting down Corporal Kirchner, very easy. I said, Corporal Kirchner's not much of a wrestler. Really, honest to God, he isn't. And Nikolai Volkov is very much experienced. But this match does not last very long either. And here's the thing. Corporal Kirchner should have been disqualified. There was one moment, and he shoved the referee down with his arm or both arms. He shoved the referee down. And that moment, the referee should have disqualified Corporal Kirchner. But Freddie Blassie, he goes to throw his cane to Nikolai to use as a weapon. No, Corporal Kirchner grabs the cane. He gets a hold of the cane first, hits Nikolai, knocks him down. Corporal Kirchner goes to cover Nikolai for the pin. The referee just getting back up, recovering from Corporal Kirchner shoving him down in the first place. He counts Kirchner pinning Nikolai. Why didn't he disqualify Kirchner? The referee is recovering from Kirchner shoving him down. In spite of the fact Kirchner then uses the cane as a weapon to knock down Nikolai, you have to get, it's a WWF, and there's no way that they're going to allow Nikolai to display, as a flag match, display the Russian flag. And this, honest to God, Kirchner should have been disqualified because the referee was knocked down. Because Kirchner knocked the referee down, but referee recovered enough to see Kirchner cover Nikolai for the pin. So Corporal Kirchner was able to wave the flag around the ring. Okay, we're going to watch WrestleMania 2's 20-man invitational over-the-top rope battle royal that involved some NFL stars of the time period. Gene Okerlund's going to announce rules over the top rope, obvious for a battle royal. This would be difficult for one person to review this match. So much goes on in this.
Actually, this is going to be difficult for two people to review this match, but that's the nature of battle royals.
let alone, keep up who's fighting who gets eliminated. And who the NFL... I know the wrestlers, but I wouldn't know the NFL stars. I'd be lucky if I knew one. Oh, yeah, WrestleMania 2's celebrities. This was, again, I repeatedly said throughout every match of WrestleMania 2, so many celebrities. Ridiculous.
Though technically, she would have actually made more sense today, considering the whole joke about
there were two particular football players. There were so many legendary football players. They were supposed to get involved in the battle royal. They were outside referees. Dick Butkus and Ed Too Tall Jones. Who I know Ed Too Tall Jones was announced to participate in the battle royal, but no, they had him as an outside. Yeah, to make sure the wrestlers leave.
Because they were smart enough not to get hurt and get paid.
Now, I'm no football expert of what kind of careers they had. I just know they're legendary football players.
Yeah.
Would you know?
No, those two I do. But I'm not sure. I got to see the rest of the players because the only one I remember from this one was obviously William Refrigerator Perry.
Yes.
Other than that, I'm not sure I remember the names of the other football players. Yeah.
Jim Covert?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, you're still talking 1986 football. I mean, I'm like 9 years old.
Jimbo Covert of the Chicago Bears. Never heard of him, sorry.
Now, this would make... Now, was the Battle Royal in Chicago?
Former Intercontinental, the original triple champion of the World Wrestling Federation, Pedro Morales enters the ring. Tony Atlas enters. Wow, he was really built. He was really built. Ted Arcidi. There's not a wrestler I don't know from the past.
I think one of the things that always amazed me about...
It would have been interesting if this would have been an Royal Rumble.
With Battle Royals, it's amazing
another football star. I believe it's another football star.
That the ring actually holds that much
Harvey
weight.
Martin, former Dallas Cowboy.
Interesting attire.
Dan Spivey. It was WWE. He was WWE's version of Barry Windham. Hillbilly Jim's coming in.
And with his signature look.
He made, and you find it interesting. He went on to work in the video library. King Tonga. Don't think that's Haku. Would that be Haku?
Could be.
Very young Haku.
Yeah,
Maybe
like
I think a young Haku.
It could be a young Haku.
The Iron Sheik. Now, this is the most legitimate foreign wrestler in the history of professional wrestling. Talked it, from it. Most guys, it's. I hate to use the word faked it.
Yeah.
They did. This guy was legit, a legit foreigner.
I remember the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think.
Ernie Holmes.
Yeah. Yeah. It is funny to see the mismatched attire of the football players. It is hilarious.
They're killer bees. Now, they should have been tag team champions. Jumping Jim Brunzell and B. Brian Blair. Great tag team.
Now, if I remember this right, by the time all 20 participants got in the ring, you ended up having somewhere around 5,500 pounds of wrestlers in this ring. That's over 2.5 tons in a ring.
Big John Studd coming in.
How that ring did not collapse.
Yeah. They battle was later with far bigger people. Another football player coming in.
Wow, you have an actual current football player.
He's current?
At the time, yeah. I mean, he would only be, if he was an 85 Rookie of the Year, this would be his second year in the league.
Another tag team coming in, apparently. Bret Hart and Jim Neidhart coming in.
Oh, yeah.
This is when they were heels. They worked far better as heels, too.
I keep forgetting if that's how the final was in this match between them and Andre.
Yes.
Okay, I was right. It's been a while since I've seen this battle royal.
This match in particular ended up on Entertainment Tonight. Entertainment Tonight did a big review of this whole show.
And this was before they went to their signature pink and black uniforms.
And who is this?
Another football player.
Russ Francis of
I couldn't tell you.
the San Francisco 49ers. The living legend. Only living legend. I love how he announced him. This was Bruno Sammartino's only actual wrestling appearance. Now, I just reviewed in WrestleMania 1 his match where he was in the corner of his son David against Bruce Beefcake with corner Johnny Valiant.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. This is Bruno Sammartino's only wrestling appearance in a WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
The only... William, the Refrigerator Perry from the Chicago Bears. Yeah, he goes on the top rope and he shakes the Gene Okerlund jumps up. He shakes the ring.
Uh-huh.
And now the final participant in this 20-man invitational battle royal, the king of the battle royals.
The person who's not going to jump on the top rope.
Eighth wonder of the world, the first Hall of Famer, Andre the Giant. You couldn't pick a better selection for the first Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a person in the world that didn't know him. I believe this would be his final Battle Royal appearance, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right, because I don't think he was on another one.
Well, maybe not even WWF-wise, but...
No, because I don't remember him in WC.
Yeah, no, he worked all over the world. Now, okay, they're going at it. Now, how do you keep up? It's saying David Crockett and Tony Schiavone would say about this bunkhouse stampede. On a bunkhouse match. How do you keep up with something like this?
No,
wow. Everybody's teaming up against everybody.
What you have is 3 different focuses going on right now. You have the Andre and Stud
going out to the nails.
You have a lot of people trying to get Perry
You got about 4 guys trying to pick up Refrigerator William Perry,
right.
And one of the football players trying to break it up.
Right now, the smartest person right now is Sammartino, who nobody's going after.
Tito Santana said he narrowly battle rules because you don't know what to do. He just,
Oh yeah.
Who do you go after? You go after your rival, but that's about it.
Basically, the smart strategy right now is in the guy who has the worst uniform, the black and white NFL player guy on the upper right hand corner, because he's not touching anybody.
Okay.
And we got our first double elimination of
Tonga
and one of the football
players.
Apparently, the rookie,
Bill Frank got rid of those two.
Yep. So the second-year football player did a double elimination, it turns out. So now we're down to 18. And it looks like Lord Alfred Hayes is also part of the officiating of this match. So I'm hearing his voice.
Yeah, commentary.
And my earlier comment about the guy in the black and white for the NFL, he's gone.
Out. No,
he's not. Whoa.
He did not hit the floor.
Okay, I gotta imagine Andre's a little tick. He just didn't leave there.
Okay.
Yep, and put him right down.
I think it was Ernie Holmes just got eliminated.
Yep, down to 17.
How do you keep up with a battle royal?
I think the weird thing is, from a distance, I'm looking at Dan Spivey, and I'm thinking that looks like almost like a Hulk Hogan type look.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, wait, Hulk Hogan's not in this battle royal.
Yep.
So that obviously had to be his inspiration of his look back then. And several people grabbed
like another next generation Hulk Hogan, but no.
It's like William Perry's trying to get Big John Studd out, while two people are trying to get William Perry out.
And Andre's trying to get rid of Bill Fralick.
Yep.
Iron Sheik's trying to get rid of.
And it looks like one of the
Iron Sheik and Bruno are going at it.
One of the Killer Bees has been eliminated.
One of the Killer Bees.
And the other Killer Bee is with Bruno Sammartino, briefly, but
I think that was Jim Brunzell. I think it was Jim Brunzell was eliminated. It's hard to tell between Jim Brunzell and B. Brian Blair, unless you've seen photos.
And the Hart Foundation are going
and William Refrigerator Perry has eliminated Tony Atlas.
Yep. And we're down to 16. No, 15. I make that mistake.
John Studd and William Perry going out in the corner. B. Brian Blair with Iron Sheik.
This is the third time John Studd and William Perry tackled each other in this match. Who's the third person commentary?
I know it's one of the celebrities.
Right now, the smartest thing that all the participants are doing is they're staying away from Andre the Giant.
I remember her name, the actress.
Yeah. And John Studd just tried to eliminate Andre, and he failed. And then we had another double.
Pedro Morales is out.
One of the football players and Pedro.
Unless you know these football players, how do you know who's been eliminated?
And it looks like it was done by the Hart Foundation. And the other Killer Bee looks like Bruno Sammartino's trying to save the other Killer Bee. Yeah, I think
Bruno Sammartino is hardly doing anything in this match. I can understand why Tito Santana say that it's hard to participate because you don't know who to work with. Taylor City has been eliminated.
Yep. I think we're down to 12 at this point. So it'll be a little bit easier to tell who's who in the ring.
Andre has
and Dan Spivey's been eliminated.
Iron Sheik just dumped Dan Spivey out. Andre's got stuck on top of it. Iron Sheik is eliminated.
Iron Sheik's got a double elimination.
The last Killer Bee and Hillbilly Jim.
Yep. Yeah, Brie Brian Blair.
And there's no money involved in this battle royal either.
Nope. Ooh. And William Perry is doing slaps to Jim Neidhart's chest.
Oh God, this football player's. Oh, Bill Fralick's out. The Hart Foundation pounding on Refrigerator Perry.
That's probably the only player that's got a look of a wrestler. And another elimination just took place.
Sammartino and John Studd. It's hard to keep up with who the hell's being eliminated. Sammartino going out with John Studd.
Yeah, I think it was Iron Sheik that got eliminated.
Hmm.
That was the guy off
Yes.
the corner.
He's not in the ring.
Yeah. No, as I said, another person got eliminated at the time that the other football player.
Oh,
And
John Cena gets rid of San
Sammartino.
Martino.
Yep.
Goodbye to WrestleMania.
And down to 6.
Which WrestleMania he would ever appear in again.
Unreal that would be one of the last 2 football players that ugly freaking year wore.
All right, for Refrigerator Perry and Jig Johnston are going to go at it.
And for the 5th time in this match, we're going to have William Perry and John Studd.
And he goes for a tackle. Ooh, tackles Johnson into the corner.
I think this is how he gets eliminated. Yeah.
And Johnson eliminates William Refrigerator Perry. This is on Entertainment Tonight, too.
Oh,
This particular part of the Battle Royal. Now, William Perry goes, I'm going to shake your hand. You eliminated me. Okay, we'll shake hands. Now I'm pulling you with me. And then he pulls him out. You got a football player, the Hart Foundation, and Andre the Giant.
Who would ever thought the inspiration for Hulk Hogan helping Ric Flair to win the title a few years later in a Royal Rumble would be from this? Yet, here we see it.
Phew. I think Russ Francis.
Yeah. I never thought Russ Francis would be the last football player standing.
Nice double drop kick. They tie up Andre into the ropes. Ooh.
Yeah, apparently the Hart Foundation did their best Rock and Roll Express impression.
Yeah, I've never seen Hart Foundation do a double drop kick. I've never seen any team do a double drop kick.
Now, personally, this was a mistake of the Hart Foundation because they had Andre tied up. They should have just picked his legs.
Are you kidding me? You're gonna pick up Andre?
It's your best shot. He's tied up.
Okay. Hart Foundation eliminated Russ Francis.
It's a lot easier than doing it now when he's standing. What are you gonna do? A heart attack on him, please? And then I just realized that was probably the worst choice of words I could have said, and I apologize for
And
it.
oof.
Cannot believe I said that.
Jim Neidhart tries they're gonna try. They're picking his legs up. Are you kidding me? You're gonna pick up?
But that's what I said. It would have made more sense when he was tied up because you could have literally just flipped him over.
I
He wouldn't have been on the
doubt
corner.
that. I think Andre is gonna do a. Oh no! Bret Hart gets the big boot.
Ugh.
He grabs Jim Neidhart by the beard. Pull by the beard and pull by the hair. Oh Jesus! Andre picks up Neidhart by the beard, throws him on the ropes.
And this wouldn't be the first or the
Big
last
boot.
time. Bret Hart
I just
did.
love that was a weird over the top rope. And Bret Hart goes to the top rope. Why?
Yeah.
Andre
Why?
gets
I don't know.
Power picks him up over his head,
just
and he
dumps
eliminates it. Andre the Giant has won the 20-man Invitational NFL Battle Royal and remains the king of the Battle Royals.
Yep.
All right, the 4th match of the Chicago portion, the main event, would be the World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions, Greg the Hammer Valentine, Brutus Beefcake with their manager, Luscious Johnny Valiant, against the challengers, the British Bulldogs, Davey Boy Smith, Dynamite Kid, with the guiding light of wrestling. The manager of champions, Captain Louis Albano. How many champions has he managed? World champion, Intercontinental champion, tag team champions. He's managed them all. And he's with Ozzy Osbourne. At first I thought it was an unusual celebrity to be a part of this. But no, being British, Ozzy Osbourne, a major part of the British rock invasion, music invasion, okay. And he didn't do much. He just was there and they call it, he was there as a kind of like as Girl Monsoon said, a cheerleader, kind of. He didn't do much, but this was an awesome tag team match. I'm going to review the rest of the Los Angeles portion, but this was a great tag team match. The one thing missing that of future of tag team matches and special title matches is that they've wrestled many times, a few times before. Greg Valentine, Bruce Beefcake, and the British Bulldogs. This was what you call a blow-off match, the title match, WrestleMania 2, and I remember this very well. This match, but looking back, this was a great, awesome tag team match. All four men, great wrestlers, great tag team competitors. Honest to God, really, the British Bulldogs they really dominated. They're muscular, fast paced. Oh man, they honestly they dominated. Greg Valentine did. I think Greg Valentine did more wrestling than he was in the ring a lot more than Bruce Beefcake was. I'm not going to dish Bruce Beefcake, even though I'm not a fan of his. They were a good tag team. And Greg Valentine spent a lot more time in the ring, I think, from my point of view. But the British Bulldogs, they dominated the match. But the interesting ending was that Greg Valentine had Davey Boy Smith down they think it was for a pin, and he pulled him up. He pulled his shoulders off the mat, and it says, "Oh, he's taking a chance there." But Greg Valentine, as he picked him up, Davey Boy kind of turns him around and throws him into Dynamite Kid, kind of a headbutt situation. Valentine falls all black. Valentine falls falls down flat to the mat. Davey Boy covers 1, 2, and 3. We have new World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions, the British Bulldogs. All right, the opening match for the Los Angeles and third and ending part of WrestleMania 2. From the Los Angeles Sports Arena, it'll be Jesse Ventura, head commentator, with Alfred Hayes and special celebrity guest commentator Elvira. The opening match would be Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Hercules Hernandez. Now, compared to what's similar to Paul Orndorff and Don Morocco in the very first opening match in the New York portion, very good match. Ricky Steamboat, the technical wrestler, Hercules Hernandez. I think he's a WWF version of Bruiser Brody. He looks it, he acts it, the brawler. He tries tries working and wrestling with Ricky Steamboat. This was a decent match, but Ricky Steamboat really did do a lot of technical wrestling, and Hercules did a lot of brawling and hits and punches. But Ricky Steamboat overcame using a fly body press and pinned Hercules Hernandez. But a very decent match so far in the opening of the Los Angeles third part portion of WrestleMania 2. All right, our next match, second match in the Los Angeles show, is Adrian Adonis with Jimmy Hart versus Uncle Elmer. Now, this is a match I swear it should have been the first match of this Los Angeles show. Number 2, I think this should, similar to the Paul Orndorff and Don Morocco match, should have been a double count out, because there shouldn't have been a winner in this match, because they're both, I don't want to use the word ugly. This match is a joke. But Adrian Adonis, I think, I only want to use experience, because the way he's gained a lot of weight over in his ending part of his career into the mid 80s, and he was a long time a good tag team wrestler for a while also. And he's versus Uncle Elmer, part of the Hillbilly Clan. Now, Uncle Elmer is actually a Memphis wrestler, formerly Plowboy Frazier, who worked in Jerry Lawler's Memphis territory. Adrian Adonis, that would have been a better match than Adrian Adonis, Uncle Elmer. They're putting a three-way match. Uncle Elmer, I'd say Adrian Adonis versus Buddy Rose, the way he gained so much weight for WrestleMania 1. But Uncle Elmer was whipping and kind of beating up Adrian Adonis. It's practically this wrestling match was beating that. Uncle Elmer was whipping Adrian Adonis around this ring. That this dress that Adrian Adonis is wearing, and oh my god, because the interview promos that Jimmy Hart and Adrian Adonis were, I remember as a teenager, says they call me he's an adorable baby, and that's why he looked like an adorable baby, and he ended up running that flower shop that was a competitor to Piper's Pit. Oh, this match was a joke. And if people wanted to be, the fans were against, they didn't like the Piper Mr. T boxing match. I didn't like this match. It was a joke. It should have ended in a double count out. But Uncle Elmer tried a kind of a splash on Adonis, and he missed it. And Adonis would pin Uncle Elmer. This match was a joke where The fans didn't like the boxing match with Piper and Mr. T. I didn't like this match. I didn't like it at all. Adrian Adonis pinning Uncle Elmer. Okay, now we're going to watch Tito Santana and the Junkyard Dog versus the Funk Brothers, WrestleMania 2. I believe this is Chicago because this is a three-city WrestleMania 2, April 7th, 1986. The argument I have with this show, and ain't the match, is that it should have had Philadelphia as one of the three cities.
Well, probably didn't do it because of the time constrictions. If you remember, each city finished at a different time, and the other one started at a different time, and that's why.
Another questionable thing, and nobody ever questioned it, is Terry Funk and his brother Dory Funk Jr., which is going by the name Hoss Funk instead. Now, why?
Yeah, that is weird. I thought it would just be Dory Funk Jr.
Hoss Funk. And it's Dory Funk Jr., another NWA, a legendary NWA World Champion. Hoss Funk. That's strange why he doesn't go by Dory Funk Jr. Strange.
Too much connection to the NWA? I don't know.
Yeah. So is Terry.
Well, probably had to change
the only brothers who ever hold the World Heavyweight title. Junkyard Dog. Yeah, either of you seen this match?
I can't remember it. If I did, it was so long.
Oh, I wanted to pick up a array of his greatest matches.
It's okay.
Tito Santana's greatest matches.
I'm just trying to figure out where this one took place. This is definitely not New York.
This is Chicago. I believe this is Chicago.
Yeah,
the Rosemont Horizon.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not wide enough to be LA, so I think you're right. It's not the Forum, so.
So it's very disturbing that the first show the first hour was in the Nassau Coliseum, Long Island, New York. This is the Rosemont Horizon in Chicago, Illinois, and next one will be the Los Angeles Sports Arena in Los Angeles, California. Why they couldn't have Philadelphia as instead of Long Island, New York, and Nassau Coliseum, have it the Philadelphia Spectrum? They should have opened it in Philadelphia. I'm sorry, they should have. Hey. WrestleMania 2. WrestleMania 15, 1999. 15 WrestleManias later. Why couldn't they have the Spectrum for a WrestleMania? And the Spectrum has been running shows since 1974. Practical sellouts, if not.
Well, 1986, would you have considered Philadelphia more
Yes!
an NWA venue than a WWE venue? WWF venue?
What does that matter?
To them, well, everything.
Yeah.
To this company, everything.
Yeah.
But the Spectrum should have been the Spectrum should have been the first the opening. Junkyard Dog on a body slam binge. Yeah, over and over and over. Tito Santana and Terry Funk, they go way back to the Amarillo days. Amarillo territory days. It was also strange when in the opening of this you saw Dory Funk Jr. wearing a long trench coat. I don't think I've ever seen him wear it. I haven't seen much Dory Funk matches. I've never seen. This is the first time I've ever seen. If you see any photos online, or have you ever seen a Dory Funk Jr. match, you never seen him wear that coat.
And who's the ref?
One of the Hebners. Probably Dave. Probably Dave Hebner.
You say one of the Hebners.
I heard Jesse Ventura calling him Chico, and honestly, it gets on my nerves. And Tito didn't mind it. Tito didn't even know Jesse was saying that.
I thought he was like being racist.
Well, Tito didn't even know Jesse was saying that.
Chico is Tito.
And then at times I was Gorilla Montuna, whoever, or Vince would try to correct Jesse with, it's Tito, not Chico. I said, that's what I said, Chico. That's Jesse for you.
I thought he was being racist. Not 100% sure.
I didn't like it, but Tito on fire, drop kicking.
I didn't like it either.
Yeah, but he was, and it was intentional. It was about trying to create cheap heat.
Yeah.
It's an easy way to create cheap heat.
Terry Funk is well known for being the middle-aged and crazy.
Well, I'm surprised Tito didn't get mad and smack Jesse across the face like Hey, my name is Tito,
You know,
not
the only person that Tito has ever found he has said it in his book, racist, and he's very angry with is Ole Anderson. That he held him back, didn't see anything in him. That once you didn't, Tito, I said, Ole, why did you tell me that and I'll leave? And it's the only person he truly, I believe, has any animosity for. If I'm using the right word, Tito, yeah, I know you don't like Ole Anderson very much. And a lot of people don't like Ole Anderson. He's a very bitter son of a bitch. That's because he created the name WCW before it got big, before it went corporate. Junkyard Dog on Terry Funk. Okay, I love Terry. When he sells himself into the headbutts. Terry is a great seller of injury. He's a great seller of getting his ass kicked. Hello, I'm not swinging like that. Hey, here he goes again.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times into that bucket.
And headbutt.
And a headbutt.
Junkyard Dog's legendary headbutts. Dory pulls Joe off. Tito going after him. You know, I find a boring announcer, Lord Alfred Hayes. I found him dull.
And he tried to have the accent.
No hype.
English accent.
Yeah, he was
drove me crazy.
He was a past wrestler in his time. You know, even when Terry Funk probably debuted, he'd call himself middle-aged and crazy. And they keep calling him Hoss, they're not calling him Dory.
Because he went with that name Hoss. He probably had to change his name.
I don't see the problem. This is the only time he probably ever went by Hoss. I don't think Dory ever worked with the WWF. This is possibly the only Dory Funk Jr. match. Now, fans, if you listen, who's listening to this, prove me wrong. Is this the only Dory Funk Jr. match in the WWF history? Terry Funk has wrestled many matches for the company. Tito with the flying forearm.
What'd you say?
I gotta imagine he had to have done house shows leading up to this.
I don't know.
Because that would be a weird way to debut.
Yeah, I just never known Dory. Terry has had several WWF matches. He was in the I believe the first pay-per-view, the Wrestling Classic, the tournament.
I know him and Cactus Jack.
Yeah, that was in the 90s. So Terry's had a fairly fair on-off career. Dory, I have never known him to be in a WWF match. Back and forth, Tito and Dory. Oh, Terry got him on the back.
I wouldn't say on and off career. Terry's done everything everywhere.
But he's somebody you definitely wouldn't want to hire for any show you do. Talking, wrestling, brawling, you name it. That's why he helped start ECW. Jimmy kicking Tito like a coward he is.
And ran.
What is the referee's problem telling Junkyard Dog get away from him? It's on the outside, not the inside.
Welcome to the 80s.
Referee always never see what the bad guys do.
If anybody, I would find, yes, he's a great legendary manager. If anybody's gonna find someone, it's a trademark thing for Jimmy Hart. But I would find him annoying. I don't dislike him. Don't get me wrong, people. I don't dislike him. I don't hate him. I just find him annoying also. Yes, he's the mouth of the South. That's the point of it. I also find him annoying, and that's the point of the gimmick.
Yeah, he did his job. He annoys people, including you.
Yep, if he annoys you and you get annoyed, he's doing his job.
You know the strange thing about Jesse on the mic, Jesse Ventura on the mic, it's like he's got his mouth right up against the mic. It's so ruffle.
Well, thank you for clarifying which one of the Hebner brothers.
Yeah.
Which one is that?
Dave.
Yeah, Dave Hebner.
And nobody would know that until 1997. That there were two brothers.
It's a good. It's an overall good tag team match. Very good. It's not like you pick somebody that doesn't have enough experience. All four long.
They have teamed before.
Definitely good experience.
I know Junkyard Dog and Tito.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Oh, nice collision, Terry and Tito. Nice collision.
But he definitely.
Is he gonna do it? Double arm heart.
Yeah.
Super.
Nice. Dory is also going to be considered a ring general, definitely. First won the NWA World Title back in 1969, if I'm not mistaken with the year, and lost it to Harley Race. Harley Race's first win. WrestleMania 2 is not considered one of its best the best shows of all 35.
No.
I do find it a good show.
I get the experiment. I understood it, but it just didn't work.
The reason why they split into three cities is to compete with Starrcade, which was doing Greensboro and Atlanta. They wanted to compete. It didn't really work. And WrestleMania 2, which I started my first major show. I didn't get to see it, no pay-per-view yet, but growing up in 1986, Saturday Night's Main Event with Terry Funk is a double leg drop on Tito when Tito moved quick enough. Saturday Night's Main Event was Hulk Hogan against the Magnus of Morocco and King Kong Bundy and Bobby Heenan, triple team Hogan, which leads to this WrestleMania 2, this show.
That's actually one of the few Hogan matches I appreciate.
Yeah, I might do that. The King Kong Bundy steel cage match. We might cover that. We might. I might cover and I will admit, I will be open. I'm no Hogan fan, but we should do some Hulk Hogan matches
at some point.
But I picked up I consider Tito's greatest matches. Love it. Tito running around like a dog.
Tag him in.
Hot tag. Junkyard Dog on fire.
Running like a dog.
Delivering those soup bones. Oof. And he's a big man. Soup. Oh. Yeah, like a piece of. I think a piece of tape. Attempting to choke him. That didn't work. Headbutt City. Oh. Whoa. Flew on top rope.
Whoa. Oh, man.
Okay, now I'm just a little bit confused because there wasn't no disqualification for that?
I don't think WWE ever did DQs over top rope.
Yeah, they never did.
No, for the choke job.
Oh, but I don't think the referee saw it or something. Who knows? You know how the referee never sees it what the bad guy does? Just like
Except I did see it. It looked like he did see it. That's why I asked it. Each of them did a choke. Junkyard Dog and Funk.
This is going all over the place, folks.
Should be a double disqualification then.
Yeah, that's why.
All over the place.
I guess they want to match the last
Dog to grab along with Jimmy Hart.
And who the heck's the third person commentating? Because I'm hearing a feminine.
Yeah, it's probably a celebrity. I believe it's Elvira.
Okay.
I think. They had so many celebrities in WrestleMania 2. Good Lord. So many. It was ridiculous. Oh, Junkyard Dog, a small package on Terry there. That's unusual for Dog, I think. Oh, Tito, figure form there on Dory. I am not calling him Hoss Funk. Sorry, I am not calling him Hoss. It's a lame name.
What?
Call him the legend. He is Dory Funk Jr. Oh,
the microphone.
Jimmy throws Terry boom. Jimmy Hart threw the megaphone to Terry, and he
classic Hart tactic.
Cheated. Yep. And they won.
This is the first loss of a series of losses for Tito Santana in the coming WrestleManias.
The referee didn't see it. So. And that, back then, that always happens. The referee always catch the good guys doing something, but never the bad guys.
Imagine if that was a metal megaphone and an impact on your head. That'd be a heck of an impact.
Be
It,
hearing
would,
nothing
it
but
wouldn't
bells.
kill you because it's so thin, but yeah, it would hurt.
You're Dory Funk Jr. Is Junkyard Dog even awake after that hit?
He's up. Tito was trying to protect him so they ain't trying to hit him again.
Well, they had to have
Yeah.
He's on all fours.
They had to have 6 announcers at least for us. Was it 2? Wow.
Well, now they got so
Two for
many.
each.
Probably.
No, 2 for each
Yeah.
of the venues.
He don't mind. He don't mind losing.
And
There goes again, calling him Chico.
Yep, there goes that lovely 80s term.
Why I don't buy it? That bothers me. It doesn't. And for the replay, you don't even see the camera work. You didn't even see Jimmy Hart throw the microphone to Terry, and at least Junkyard didn't turn around and see it coming.
And now the main event, the ending portion of Los Angeles. Hulk Hogan, the World Heavyweight Champion, against King Kong Bundy in the blue steel cage, the climbing bar steel cage. Now, Jesse Ventura had said this is the first time the steel cage has ever been used. True. The first time the bar cage has ever been used, because 2 big guys like that cannot climb a fence cage. Despite the fact that Hulk Hogan probably, I think he used a couple of times, like 84, he used, he'd been in steel cage matches with a couple, like Greg Valentine, Big John Studd. He's been in cage matches before. But the this is the debut. I think this is the debut of the blue steel cage for the main event for WrestleMania 2. Oh, it was back and forth. Oh my God, a brawl. This is called a blow off, a brawl. It was a good brawling match between Hogan and Bundy, and most don't look back at this match with fond memories. I do. It was a pretty good steel cage match. Now, when I first when I did my shoot interview, I said that my first time I ever watched wrestling was Saturday Night's Main Event on NBC. It was March 1st, 1986. Taped in Phoenix, as they kept talking about the Phoenix attack by Bobby Heenan, Magnums in Morocco, and King Kong Bundy. They triple teamed Hogan, and Bundy did the body splash and avalanches on Hogan, damaging his ribs. And this led to WrestleMania 2 steel cage. This is my first WrestleMania. Well, not the first one on pay-per-view I ever saw, but this is the first WrestleMania that I knew about and saw the VHS tape. Now, one big difference with this opening of this match is the VHS release of this only shows Hogan. He's already at the top of the cage as he comes out. This must be the pay-per-view, definitely the pay-per-view version. And you see Bundy walk out, and then Hogan, he climbs the cage from outside. And he wins his match by leaving the cage. He did it either way. Now, with the celebrities involved for Los Angeles for this main event. Now, Lee Marshall, he announced all the matches for the Los Angeles show, and he is, as far as I know, he was the AWA American Wrestling Association TV announcer. Now, unless he left, he is or was the AWA TV announcer. But he announced all the matches for this show. And then he announced that Tommy Lasorda, the longtime Los Angeles Dodgers baseball manager, he would announce this match. And Tommy Lasorda announces the timekeeper, NBC's child star Ricky Schroeder as timekeeper. Now, the referee, Robert Conrad, I thought it was somebody else. I'm sorry, I don't recognize this guy's actor name, Robert Conrad. I thought it was Robert Conrad was the actor who played the chief of police on Chips, the motorcycle show with Eric Estrada. That's who I thought Robert Conrad was, but he is not the same person with the camera close-up. But that was the celebrity rundown. Jesse Ventura and Elvira going back and forth. Oh my God! Now Elvira, as much as she wants to be a celebrity announcer, she's not going along. But this, Susan St. James was far more interesting to listen to. She was in it watching this match, and Elvira was so. But the Bundy and Hogan cage match, oh yeah, it was pretty good. Bundy bled pretty early. and Hogan went for a body slam, and he fell backward, and that's where the injury to the ribs came, and then Bundy comes off the ropes with a body splash. Bundy went to leave the cage through the door many, many times, and Bobby Heenan's opening the door, come on through, and as much as Hogan looked hurt in the middle of the ring. No, he was able to crawl really fast or run really fast, grab Bundy, because every time he hurt Hogan, Bundy was getting ready to leave the cage door. He was going right through the door very fast. But Hogan, he crawled really fast or got up really fast and grabbed, keeping Bundy from leaving the cage. And saw that we saw Hogan's lower ribs between his tight. It's like the title belt first was hiding he had taped ribs between his lower torso around his yellow trunks. Not even, it's the yellow tape, the white tape that he had around his ribs. It wasn't really, they weren't covering his ribs on his upper body, but his very lower body, more around his stomach area. And eventually Bundy would pull all the tape off. One thing I also had on the first time I've seen before this VHS came out, Entertainment Tonight. John Davidson and Kathy Lee Crosby were their commentators. Kathy Lee Crosby was in the Chicago portion with Gorilla Monsoon, and they talked about all the celebrities of WrestleMania 2. WrestleMania has finally made it to mainstream, despite it's pay-per-view. Pay-per-view has not gone nationwide somewhat, but it's getting attention, especially with a celebrity. I'll give Vince McMahon the credit. He had to use the celebrities to get nationwide attention. I guess Mr. T was breaking them out, and this with a ton of celebrities, a lot of celebrities involved. I think it was a ridiculous amount of celebrities involved. But it was a decent main event for King Kong Bundy versus Hulk Hogan, and eventually when Bundy went for another avalanche, and Hogan hulked up and didn't react to it, and he goes to body slam Bundy, and they're all amazed by that, and Hogan climbs out of the cage for the win. But then he comes as Bundy, as I said, Bundy went to leave the cage door so many times, he was so close to leaving, that as soon as Hogan climbs out and wins, and climbs out in the corner and drops to the floor, his feet had touched the floor. The moment that occurs, 1 second later, Bundy is sliding through the cage door. How fast he went through. Then Hogan goes to chase Bobby the Brain Heenan. Bobby Heenan climbs in the cage. He tries to pull the cage door shut by himself. Hogan overpowers that, and Jesse Ventura is flipping out. No, there's no call for this. And Hogan throws Bobby Heenan into the cage wall, and then Bobby Heenan, Bundy helps Bobby Heenan out. Again, it was a pretty good steel cage match between the two. Jesse Ventura kept saying that Hogan may have come back too early with a rib injury that Bundy gave him at that certain event in Phoenix. No, Hogan overcomes to keep the title, and it was a very good ending, I believe, for WrestleMania 2. The Hogan overcoming Bundy in a steel cage. Now, Bundy said in one particular interview that he was asked, was there any possibility of you taking the title? He said, "Oh, no, absolutely not." So, and I think for April 7th, I think this is still the latest WrestleMania date. The WrestleMania usually takes place between March and April every year. I think April 7th was the latest date that they had ever done for WrestleMania 2. If you like this video, please subscribe, comment, like or dislike, and thank you for watching.